stars near Earth were not quiet anymore. For the first time in history, 17 alien empires had gathered in one place. Their fleet's giant warships, shaped like daggers, beasts, and spinning crystals, moved together in perfect formation. Lights blinked across their hulls, engines hummed like thunder, and each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a planet. This was not a peace mission. This was a warning. The Galactic High Command had voted. Earth had refused to join the Galactic Union. Worse, humans had never explained why. They stayed silent. No ambassadors. No messages. Just watching from a distance. Some empires believed Earth was too weak. Others thought humans were hiding something. But one thing united them all. They didn't like being ignored, so they brought their fleets. Not one fleet. All of them. The galaxies. Strongest warriors, smartest minds, and deadliest weapons now pointed at a single small blue planet. From Earth's orbit, the sky looked like a burning sea of stars. Admiral Clorvin of the Zalthor Empire smiled as he watched the warships arrive. Beautiful, isn't it? He said, a full parade of power. Beside him, Commander Illick of the Montari Alliance nodded. We've crushed rebellions with less. Earth will kneel in seconds. They laughed. This was not war. This was a show of force. Earth had no chance, but something strange happened. Earth said nothing. No military alerts, no calls for help, no ships launched in defense, no response at all. Admiral Clorvin frowned. Do they not know we're here? Another commander answered. Oh, they know. Their satellites scanned us the moment we dropped out of warp. Then why are they so quiet? Nobody had an answer. Minutes passed, and hours. The fleet hovered over Earth like a storm cloud waiting to explode. And then, finally, movement. One small object launched from Earth's surface. It was a ship, but not a warship, not a battleship, not even a fast scout. It looked old, rusty. It wobbled slightly as it left the atmosphere. Its engines sputtered and coughed. Paint was peeling off the hull. A single word was written in human letters: Vulture. The Galactic Council watched in silence. What is that? Asked General Tharn of the Creel Armada. A mining drone? Someone guessed. No, it's crude, said an AI voice. 5 life forms on board. All human. The room filled with laughter. That's it, barked Clorvin. That's their answer? One junk ship with 5 civilians? Maybe it's a surrender, said Illick. But Earth hadn't sent a message. No flags, no signs of peace, no white lights. Just that single broken ship slowly approaching the fleet inside the Vulture. The 5 humans were quiet. No one panicked. No one spoke of battle. They weren't soldiers. They didn't wear armor. One was a cybernetic engineer. Another was a linguist. One woman, tall and calm, simply stared at a black cube on the table. The cube had no markings, just one pulsing red light. It blinked once, twice, then turned solid. The woman finally spoke. Test phase Alpha will begin in 3 minutes. Back on the fleet, alarms began to chirp. We're detecting something, said an alien technician. What kind of weapon? No energy spikes, no heat, just a wave. Like radio, but deeper. Like it's vibrating in our systems. Systems started acting strange. One battleship lost its left side gravity field. Another's lights began blinking in Morse code. Earth's Morse code. On the Vulture, the black cube continued pulsing. Back in the Galactic Control Tower, a message flashed across every screen. In every language at the same time. You came to destroy us. We came to understand you. Silence fell. Then came a new message. Phase Alpha, initiating. A red ripple shot from the Vulture like a soundless explosion. Thousands of alien warships froze in place. Engines stopped. Weapons powered. Down, shields dropped. AI voices fell silent. The ships didn't explode. They didn't crash. They just stopped, like statues in space. Admiral Clorvin screamed. What did they do? Reboot all systems. No response, shouted his crew. Even their words started lagging. Officers blinked in confusion, their minds foggy. Some collapsed. Others started repeating sentences they never said. It wasn't a virus. It was something else, back inside the vulture. The linguist smiled as the cube glowed brighter. They always think war is strength, he said. The woman touched the cube gently. They don't understand human chaos. Not yet. Then she looked at the frozen fleet. Let's teach them. The alien fleet still floated in space, silent, frozen. Powerless, no one understood what had happened. Billions across the galaxy watched the live feed in disbelief. 17 empires had sent their finest warships to crush a small human planet, and now those ships couldn't move. They had not been attacked. They had been shut down. And it all started from one small, rusty ship, the Vulture. The Vulture was never meant for war. It was not designed for speed or power or defense. It had no missiles, no shields, no advanced A. It had been a mining vessel once before. It was retired and left to rust in a hangar on Earth. Now, it carried 5 humans and 1 black cube. The crew sat quietly. No one spoke of fear. No one gave orders. They didn't act like heroes or soldiers. They acted like scientists watching. An experiment at the front of the ship sat Dr. Elena Rios, a neural systems expert. She was the team leader. Next to her, Max Hale, an engineer with cybernetic implants. Studied a flickering monitor. This is better than expected, Max said. The cube reached 70% activation with only partial contact. Dr. Rios nodded. They're using mixed systems, organic minds linked to digital AI. Their tech is strong, but the brain patterns are too clean, too logical. They weren't ready for human chaos. Not with pride, but with curiosity. Back in the galactic control room, panic spread like wildfire. Admirals shouted across comms. Restart power. Fire backup thrusters. Get out of range of that ship. Nothing worked. Some ships tried. Emergency warp. Others tried to launch escape pods. None of it responded. Every system was locked in place. It's like it was waiting for permission. Admiral Clorvin hit his desk. This is not war, it's a trap, Commander Illich growled. One broken ship cannot do this. But deep down, they were both afraid. This was worse than war. This was control. Inside the Vulture, black cube glowed steadily. Its red light no longer pulsed. Now it was breathing like a living thing. The linguist, Lian Cho, turned his chair. Phase Alpha is complete. Shall we begin, Beta? Dr. Rio shook her head. Not yet. Let them feel it first. Let them ask questions. If they attack again? Max chuckled. With what? Their thoughts. Everyone laughed lightly, not with joy, but with confidence. Humanity had waited for this moment for a long time. Centuries ago, humans had watched the galaxy from afar. They saw the empires rise and fall. They saw ships fly faster than light. They saw planets burn. But Earth had stayed. Quiet. They never joined the wars. They never sent diplomats. They never answered messages. They listened. They studied. And in silence, they built something new. Not bigger guns, not stronger shields, but something the galaxy forgot to fear: unpredictability. Every alien race used order patterns, logic, clean algorithms. Humans, they evolved in chaos. Their minds could jump between thoughts, switch languages mid-sentence, feel love and hate at the same time. Their brains were messy, wild, unstable, and that made them powerful. The cube was Earth's answer to war. It wasn't a weapon like others had seen. It didn't explode ships or fire beams. It studied neural patterns, how alien minds communicated with their tech, and then it mimicked those signals, but added human randomness. The result: confusion, disruption, collapse, and it did all of that with silence. No noise. No death. Just stillness. In the Zalthar flagship, Admiral Clorvin sat alone. The lights had gone dim. His crew lay unconscious or mumbling strange words. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the ship. A human voice. Calm, cold, controlled. You brought your finest. We brought one. Clorvin spun in his chair. Show yourself. But there was no one there. Just the voice. Your systems are not broken. They are waiting. Waiting for what? He shouted. The voice paused. For us to finish watching. The screens turned black back on the Vulture. Dr. Rios stood. Phase Beta, she said softly. Everyone sat up. Begin now. Max asked. No, she replied. Send the signal. But don't execute. Liencho typed a short message. It spread through the cube instantly. Across the frozen fleet. Every screen flickered with one message. Test phase beta, ready no. One knew what it meant, but the message repeated. Again and again. Every ship, every screen, every system. Test phase beta. Ready. It was not a threat. It was a promise. The alien fleets were frozen. 17 mighty armadas floated in silence around Earth. Waiting, every ship, big or small, now showed the same message on their screens. Test phase beta, ready. No one knew what that meant. No one knew what would happen next, and that fear was worse than war. In the Montari command ship, Commander Elot growled. They're playing with us. They want us scared. A young officer nodded quickly. Should we fire, sir? We still have missiles loaded? Maybe they're bluffing. Elok's jaw clenched. Then we fire first. If Earth wants war, they'll get it. He gave the order. 1,000 ships armed their weapons. Giant plasma cannons began to glow. Nuclear warheads locked. Onto Earth's surface, railguns powered up with loud energy bursts. Admiral Clorvin shouted across comms, "This is it. All fleets fire now." From Earth's orbit, the sky lit up like a second sun. Beams of energy tore through space. Missiles roared forward. Plasma storms raced toward Earth's defenses. Every weapon from every empire launched at once. It was the greatest attack the galaxy had ever seen, and it was all aimed at one small, rusty human ship. The Vulture inside the Vulture. The crew watched in silence. Missiles closed in. Dr. Rios looked calm. Activate the shield. Max Hale pressed one button. Nothing visible happened. No glow. No bubble. No sound. The missiles hit. Beams struck. Explosions covered the entire ship in white fire. The Vulture disappeared inside the light. Alien commanders cheered. Yes, we got them. Ship destroyed. But then the light faded, and the Vulture was still there. Not a scratch, not a dent, just floating calmly in space, unharmed. Shock hit the alien fleets like a hammer. How, Isla gasped, was that possible? They didn't use shields, one tech stammered. They absorbed the attacks. Absorbed? Clorvin barked. What? No answer came. But then, something worse happened. The Vulture sent a signal. Not an attack. Not a threat. Just a sound. It was soft, slow, and strange. Like a heartbeat. Thump. Thump. It echoed through every alien ship. Then the message appeared. Test phase beta. Executing. Red light burst from the cube inside the Vulture. It wasn't a weapon. It was a signal, a wave of raw data, chaos, and human neural code. It reached the alien ships in seconds, and then everything went. Wrong weapons shut down. AI minds began to scream, literally. Robotic voices shouted nonsense before falling silent. Engines reversed and froze. Control panels turned black. Gravity shifted, some officers floated. Others slammed to the floor. But the worst part wasn't the systems failing. It was the hallucinations. On the Zelther ships, soldiers saw things that weren't real. Earth cities burning, giant human faces in the stars, children laughing in the dark. They screamed. They ran. Some shot at walls. Some tried to escape into space. One by one. The proud warriors of the galaxy broke down. The cube's signal was more than code. It was a mental weapon. It didn't need bombs or lasers. It simply overloaded the alien minds by mixing human thought patterns into their systems. No, alien AI could handle that chaos. No commander could resist the confusion. Humanity had turned their weakness, messy, emotional thinking, to the galaxy's most dangerous tool. Inside the Vulture, the crew monitored the results. Max grinned. They're crashing. All of them. Liancho read the data. 38% mental breakdown. 17% neural shutdown. And it's still rising. Dr. Rios stared at the screen. Hold the signal there. Let it settle. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't celebrating. This wasn't about revenge. It was about control. About sending a message. We don't want to destroy them, she said softly. We just want them to stop underestimating us. In the galactic control tower, the last working screen showed a single line of text. Earth response. Complete. Then the cube's voice returned calm, human, direct. You sent your best. We sent one. You fired first. We did not fire at all. You feared our silence. Now you understand it. Do not test us again. And the feed ended. The vulture turned away from the frozen fleets. It began slowly drifting back toward Earth. No chase, no battle, just silence. Again, all across the galaxy, people watched in stunned silence. The strongest empires, the bravest warriors, the smartest minds, all had failed, and Earth had not even tried. They had sent one ship. No weapons, just a cube. A cube that changed everything. The galaxy was silent. 17 fleets had failed. The strongest empires had been stopped by one old ship. No weapons, no armies, just one cube. No. One understood how, and that scared them more than any weapon. Inside the vulture, the crew checked their systems. Dr. Elena Rios stared at the cube. Its red light was soft again, like it was resting after a hard job. Signal stopped, said Max Hale. Their ships are still frozen. No reboot attempts, no comes. They're scared, Liancho added. They don't know what we just did. Elena nodded. Good. Let's keep it that way. But the truth was much deeper, much older. Many years ago, Earth had made a decision. They would not fight like the rest of the galaxy, while other species built faster ships, bigger weapons. Stronger armies. Humans focused on something else, the mind, not just psychology, not just brain science, cognitive warfare. It started in secret labs under the oceans and inside the moon. Earth's top scientists studied alien communication, how ships talked, how AI worked, how soldiers were trained. They noticed one thing. Every alien race followed patterns. Their tech was smart, but also predictable. Machines ran on logic. Brains were trained for order, for discipline. But human minds, they were different. They were wild, emotional, illogical, messy. A human could cry, laugh, panic, and solve a problem all at the same time. Their thoughts were like storms, impossible to map, and that chaos made them invisible to aliens. Undetectable, uncontrollable. So Earth built the cube. It wasn't just a machine. It was part neural network, part living brain, part quantum transmitter. The cube studied enemy systems in real time. Then it created neural interference, broadcasting signals that made alien AIs and organic brains see, hear, and feel things that weren't real. It didn't hack. It didn't destroy. It simply broke their understanding of reality. In one early test, a drone controlled by the Creole Empire was sent to scan Earth's orbit. The cube sent back a false signal. The drone saw nothing. It reported that Earth had no satellites, no defense systems, no activity at all. The drone wasn't destroyed. It just went blind after that. Earth knew the cube worked. They called it Project Mind War. Back on the vulture, Liancho looked at the frozen fleets on the screen. They think we attacked, he said. We didn't, Max replied. They attacked themselves. We just gave their minds a small push. Out. Dr. Rios nodded. That's what they'll fear the most. Because humans had done something worse than fire a weapon. They had turned the galaxy's own minds against them. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos ruled. Messages from the fleets were broken. Some officers spoke nonsense. Others cried. Some had gone silent. Admiral Clorovin had not moved in hours. He stared ahead, sweating. his mouth open but silent. The cube's signal had touched his mind. He had seen Earth's face in the star's giant, watching, endless, and it had whispered one word, stop. Now he could not speak. Back on Earth, hidden, deep underground, another cube sat in silence. It was older, bigger. It hadn't been used in years. Dr. Rios's voice came through the speakers. Mission complete. Fleet shut down, requesting permission to return. A voice answered from the shadows, cold, calm, human, approved. Version 1.0 successful. Prepare next phase. Copy that, Elena said. What's the next test? The voice replied. Planet scale. Signal. Everyone in the room fell quiet. A test not against fleets, but against an entire civilization. On the Vulture, Max stared at Elena. Do we really need to go that far? She didn't answer. Because deep down she knew the truth. The galaxy wouldn't stop here. They would come back. The stronger minds. Different weapons? New tricks. Earth had just shown them fear, man. Fear makes enemies dangerous. So Earth had to stay 10 steps ahead, Lian. Cho looked out the window. He watched the stars and thought about the galaxy. Funny, he said. They thought we were behind in technology. Max chuckled. We were never behind. We just took a different path, Dr. Rios whispered. They raced to build stronger machines. We learned how to break them without touching them. The cube flashed once, just once. Then it went dark, resting, waiting. The galaxy had just learned something important. Humanity didn't win with weapons. They won with understanding. And now, everyone else would need to catch up, or fall behind forever. The one's great fleets now drifted like broken statues, engines dead. Weapons. Useless commanders silent. 17 powerful empires had come together to crush one planet-Earth. Now, they couldn't even move, and Earth hadn't fired a single shot. Admiral Clervin sat frozen in his chair, his eyes wide open. He was one of the smartest tacticians in the galaxy. Now, couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't understand what had happened. His mind kept repeating one thing. We fired first, but we never got to fight. On thousands of ships, it was the same story. Officers wandered the halls, confused, afraid. Some heard whispers, some saw ghosts, some sat on the floor and cried. These were not weak soldiers. These were elite warriors, trained in battle, loyal to their empires. But none of that mattered now. The cube had shown them something worse than war. It had shown them helplessness. Inside the Vulture, Earth's small ship, the crew watched the chaos unfold. Dr. Elena Rios said nothing. Max Hale leaned back in his seat. This is bigger than we thought. Lian Cho scrolled through the incoming data. 70% of the fleet has gone into mental lockdown. Ships are still powered down. No signs of reboot. They can't even retreat, Max added. Dr. Rios finally spoke. They don't need to retreat. Shh. They need to remember. Remember what? Max asked. She looked him in the eye. That Earth is not weak. The Vulture slowly turned and began its journey back to Earth. No one followed. No one chased. No one even moved. The galaxy's strongest armadas were now graveyards, floating proof that Earth had changed everything in the Galactic Council chambers. Emergency meetings began. Ambassadors from the empires argued with each other. They used forbidden technology. No, this was something new. This is mind control. They cheated. Others spoke in fear. If they can do that to our fleets, what if they do it to our planets? What if they don't need ships at all? One voice finally said what they were all thinking. We should never have gone to Earth. In the Creole Empire, panic spread fast. News of the fleet's collapse reached every system. Cities went quiet. Schools closed. Leaders locked themselves away. The people asked, what happened to our warriors? The answer came in a single image, a screenshot. Of the cube's message, you sent your best. No, we sent one. That one line broke their pride. They had always believed they were the strongest. Now, they were afraid to even say Earth's name. In the Montari worlds, rebellions broke out. Citizens demanded peace. No more war, no more invasions. Is not the enemy. Our leaders are. The old belief that humans were primitive was gone. Now, the question was, what else are they hiding? But not everyone accepted the loss. On a dark moon far from Earth, a secret meeting took place. Several empires sent spies and scientists. One of them, a tall alien with golden eyes, spoke first. They used the mind to fight us. We must do the same. Another answered, our AI is too slow. Our brains are too ordered. We can't copy human thinking. The leader stood and said, then we must find minds like theirs, or make new ones. And so, a new plan was born. Plan to create something even more dangerous than Earth's cube, back on Earth. Dr. Rios reported to High Command. We did what was needed, she said. The fleets are broken. The message is clear. The reply came from a shadowed figure behind a screen. Good, the galaxy needed to learn. What happens now? She asked. Now? We wait and watch? Max sat in the Vulture, looking out at the stars. They'll come again, won't they? Lian Cho nodded. Yes, but next time, they won't bring ships. They'll bring monsters, Max said quietly. Mind weapons. Counter chaos. Elena stepped forward. Her voice was steady. Then we'll be ready. We didn't win because of one cube. We won because we understand something they don't. What's that? Max asked. Elena looked out at the frozen fleets behind them. That fear is the most powerful force in the universe. The galaxy had changed forever. The Great Alliance had fallen not in battle, but in silence, in confusion, in fear. Earth had shown them something new, a war without fire, a victory without violence. And now, the rest of the universe had a choice. Adapt or fall. The stars were quiet again. Earth had returned to silence. The Vulture was back on the planet, hidden inside a mountain base. The crew had left without speaking to the world, and the great alien fleets. They drifted in space for 3 more days before turning away. Slowly, quietly, one by one, the ships limped home. Across the galaxy, the once-proud empires tried to hide the truth. Official messages said, tactical retreat, unexpected interference, no casualties. But the people knew better. Videos leaked, secret recordings of soldiers screaming at shadows, engines shutting down, admirals frozen in fear. One image was shared across every Systemo shot of the Vulture. It's untouched in the middle of thousands of alien warships. And one line burned itself into history. You sent your best. We sent one. In the Zalthar Empire, crowds gathered at every spaceport. They waited to welcome back the war heroes. But when the ships landed, no one cheered. The soldiers didn't raise their flags. They didn't speak. They walked off their ships like ghost sighs, empty hands shaking. Even children backed away in fear. They had not returned as heroes. They had returned. Broken, the Creole Military High Council held a secret meeting. This shame must be erased, one general said. Our warriors are scared of Earth, said another. We can't allow that. So what do we do? The room was silent until one voice answered, we fight again. The others turned in shock, but the voice continued, we send something new, something they can't control. Back on Earth, Dr. Elena Rios stood inside the mountain base. The cube was offline, resting in its case. But something about it felt alive. Liancho watched her closely. You feel it too? He asked. Elena nodded. Something's coming. Max Hale checked the satellite feed. No fleets, no ships, just empty space. Exactly, she said, too quiet. Then the alert came. A single object had just entered Earth's orbit. No ship, no crew, just a capsule. It was small, fast, and completely silent. But what was inside? The capsule didn't land. It simply appeared on a field outside a human research facility. No explosion, no sound, just their military drones surrounded it. It didn't move. Then the hatch opened. Inside, strange figure stepped out. Not a soldier, not a robot. Something else. A creature with glowing skin. It's a long, thin face, and black eyes that didn't blink. It didn't speak. It just stared. Earth scientists examined it. It wasn't from any known species, and it wasn't entirely alive. Its brainwaves were messy, almost like a human's, but faster. Welder. When Dr. Rios arrived, she stared at it for a full minute. Then she said one word. Hybrid. Leanne looked confused. Part alien, part human. No. Alina said softly. Part machine, part chaos. Max frowned. They built this to fight the cube. Maybe to understand us, Alina added. The hybrid finally spoke, but not with words. It sent a thought directly into their minds. Everyone froze. The voice was cold, mechanical. The galaxy has learned. We are the answer. Prepare for the next test. Then it shut down. Its body turned stiff, like stone. Within hours, 5 more capsules appeared, 1 on Mars, 1 on Europa, and 3 in deep orbit. Each one carried another hybrid. Each one sent the same message. Prepare for the next test. Back in the Galactic Council, the truth came out. A secret project. Operation Echo Mind, after the Earth defeat. The empires had started working together again. But not to build ships, to build weapons of the mind. They studied chaos. They copied human thought. They tried to recreate the unpredictable patterns that made the cube so dangerous, and they built the hybrids to carry that code, machines that could think like humans, but follow orders like AI. But Earth had one advantage. The galaxy didn't understand. True chaos can't be programmed. It must be born. Inside Earth's space, Dr. Rios met with High Command. They're testing us, she said. Yes, the voice on the screen replied. What do? You prepare version 2. Max stepped forward. But we don't know if the cube can handle these hybrids. The voice answered. Then it's time for something stronger. Alina stared at the cube, still sleeping in its case. She whispered, Are you ready? The cube pulsed once, bright red dot, just once. Then it went dark again. Above the Earth, the hybrids watched from orbit, waiting, studying, listening. No fleets, no armies. Just thought. In silence, the war had changed again. Now, it was not about who had the most power. It was about who understood the mind better, and Earth had only just begun. For weeks, the galaxy waited. No fleets moved. No new attacks came. But the fear didn't go away. The hybrids had arrived strange. Silent beings built to fight with thoughts, not weapons. The empires had created them to face Earth's power. They floated in orbit, watching, waiting, listening, and Earth said, Nothing in the underground base on Earth. Dr. Elena Rios stood in the cube chamber. The cube was quiet again, a pulsing light. No signals, no sound, but Elena knew it was listening. We can't stay silent forever, Max Hale said. The galaxy thinks we're hiding. We are hiding, Liancho replied, and it's working. But for how long? Lena asked. Softly, Max looked up. So, what now? Alina turned toward the center of the room. The galaxy needs an answer. The decision was made. For the first time in human history, Earth would speak to the Galactic Council. No threats, no weapons, just a message, and one person would deliver it. His name was Jonah Cade. Not a general, not a scientist, just a diplomat. He was calm, clean suit, clear voice, no bodyguards, no armor, just a small black case in his hand. Inside the case was a cube smaller than the original. It was not armed, not active, just watching. Jonah walked alone into the grand chamber of the Galactic Council. Thousands of species sat in silence. Some had come from broken fleets. Others had sent hybrids. Everyone waited to hear what Earth would say. Jonah stood in the center. No stage, no force field. Just him. He placed the black case on the table, and then he began. You came to Earth with fire, he said. You brought your fleets, your weapons, your strength. You saw us as weak, because we were quiet. He opened the case, the cube. Inside glowed softly like a slow heartbeat. You called us primitive. You thought we were behind. You never asked why we stayed silent. Now every screen in the chamber showed one image: the frozen alien fleets, and Jonah continued. We did not fight you. We did not kill you. We simply showed you what happens when you try to control something you don't understand. He looked around the room. His voice was calm. Every word carried weight. Humans are not special because we are strong. We are special because we are different, because we think in chaos, because we can be afraid and brave, and angry and kind, all at once. No system can predict us. No machine can copy us. He paused, and then said the words that shook the room. That is why you failed. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, one alien delegate stood, a soft-skinned creature with silver eyes. What do you want from us? It asked. Surrender. Jonah shook his head. No, another delegate stood. This one from the Creel Empire. Do you want control? Jonah answered again. No. Then what? Jonah closed the cube's case and said, we want peace, but peace that is earned, not taken, not demanded. Respect us, or leave us alone. Then he reached into his bag and pulled out something. Shocking. 7 more cubes. Each one was small, dormant, safe. He placed them gently on the table, one for each major empire, said. They are not weapons. They are reminders. Study them. Learn from them. Fear them if you must, but do not use them. If you ever try to come to Earth again. He looked directly at the Creel ambassador. Make sure you're ready to face what? We haven't shown you yet. With that, Jonah turned and walked away. No guards, no escorts, just silence. Hours later, the council ended the meeting. The empires left with their cubes. Some locked them away. Some placed them in museums. Some tried to copy them but failed. None of them dared to open one. Not yet. Because deep down, they feared what might happen next. Back on Earth, the Vulture remained in storage. The original cube now slept, hidden inside layers of lead and psychic shielding. But before Alina left the base that night, she saw something strange. The cube pulsed. Once, bright, red dot as if it had heard everything Jonah said, and it approved. In orbit, hybrids floated silently. They had watched the speech, they had studied Jonah's words, and then they vanished, one by one, without a trace. No signal, no war. No war. No. Warning, just gone. The galaxy had been warned. Earth was not looking for a fight, but Earth was no longer afraid of one. They didn't need armies. They didn't need ships. They had something stronger, the human mind. Years passed, the stars looked the same. But the galaxy had changed forever. No fleets flew toward Earth. No invasions. No threats. The empires who once stood proud and united now lived in quiet fear. They remembered the message. You sent your best. We sent one. And they remembered the warning. Respect us, or leave us alone. And so, they left Earth alone. The 7 cubes given by Jonah Cade were locked away, not destroyed, not opened, just watched. Each empire kept its cube in a vault, deep underground, surrounded by shields and guards. No one dared to activate them, because no one truly understood them. Even now, on the Creel homeworld, a team of scientists had spent 20 years studying the cube. They scanned it, probed it, ran simulations. Nothing worked. Every attempt to copy the code failed. One of their top minds, a synthetic named Velsho, finally said, "This is not technology. It is thought made solid." No one knew what that meant, but it scared them, and they stopped trying. Earth, meanwhile, remained quiet. No expansion, no colonies, no armies sent into space. They stayed on their blue planet, watching, preparing, but not for war, for peace, real peace, the kind built from strength, not fear. In schools across the galaxy, young students now learned a new chapter in history, the Earth's incident. They were taught not to hate humans, not to worship them either, but to respect them, and to never ever forget what happened when 17 empires brought war to their doorstep and failed. But the galaxy was not done changing. Something strange began happening. Small signals appeared at the edges of mapped space. Unfamiliar, UNTR. Insulator. Unknown. At first, they were ignored. Then, a mining ship disappeared near one of the signals. No wreckage, no trace, just silence, just like Earth had done once. Years later, a child on a far-off colony found something strange in the sand. It was a black cube, smaller than a human hand. It had no lights, no buttons, no markings, but the moment she touched it, Tit blinked. Red dot once. Then she heard a voice. Not in her ears, in her mind. A soft, whispering voice. One word. Hello. Scientists arrived. Days later, they took the cube. They ran tests. It was not like the others. It was new, and no one knew who made it. Not the empires, not even the hybrids who had vanished without a trace. Back on Earth. Dr. Alina Rios stood in the quiet cube chamber again. The original cube version 1.0 remained sealed. It's untouched for years. Max Hale, now older and with gray streaks in his hair, walked in. He held a report. Another cube was found, he said. Alina didn't look surprised. Where? Sector 14, near the void edge. Was it ours? He shook his head. No, it's something else. Alina stepped closer to the old cube, still dark, still silent, but she had a strange feeling. What if this was never about war? She asked. Max blinked. What do you mean? What if we didn't build the first cube? She whispered. What if we only found it and thought we made it? Silence filled the room, in the far reaches of space. The signals grew stronger. More cubes appeared, each one different, each one pulsing softly. Had a heart waiting to be awakened across the galaxy. People began to ask the same question. If Earth wasn't the start, then what comes next? One night, Jonah Cabe, now old and nearly forgotten, sat alone by his window. He looked up at the stars, and in the dark sky above, a single light blinked red, just once. Jonah smiled. He whispered to himself, the mind is the universe's greatest weapon and its greatest mystery. Then he stood and walked inside, not knowing the cube on his desk had just whispered back. Version 2.0. Initializing.